Hi, everybody. I see that Debbie has says hello, my dear sweet friend. There it is. Hi, Debbie. Hi to you. Hi, everyone. I'm just a couple minutes late. One of the things that I didn't share with you, first of all, happy Mother's Day. It's this weekend, and we're going to talk about not only some fun things you can do for Mother's Day, but also some fun things you can just do because there's a lot out there. There's a ton out there. Like last night, if you got to watch the SpaceX rocket and the rocket trail that appears to have happened, I actually missed it, but I have a friend who sent me pictures, so I feel like I was there. That happened last night around 9:45 Pacific. It was pretty impressive to see. I understand. Like I say, I didn't see it. But there's that. Mother's Day is upon us. That is Sunday, guys. So if you're a mom, happy Mother's Day. Congratulations. Make it your day. And I hope that your family makes it your day because it's a great day to honor you. And in the case of my mother and I used to plan it differently. I really did. How can I say this? I don't like it on Sunday. Listen to me. Oh, I guess I forgot something. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Terri TV. Oops. I'm Terri Hardin. I'm a pop icon. I'm a Disney Imagineer. I'm a Jim Henson Muppeteer, etc., etc., etc. International trademark speaker artist and speaker. And I have this channel, which is a peek into my brain, which can be fun or it can be scary. But welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Friday. And Mother's Day is upon us, is what I started to say. Terri TV wants to make sure that you have those dates so that you can not be, in the doghouse with your mom if you have that kind of a mom. My mom always loved Mother's Day and liked to spend the entire day. But one of the challenges that I had was that Mother's Day was the day everybody was celebrating. So I said to my mother, how about we celebrate it on a different day, and then it becomes our Mother's Day of me celebrating my mom. And so we did the Wednesday following, and we did that for years. For years, we would go to our favorite restaurant. We would sit and look at the water, and then we'd go to a metaphysical place. My mom is very spiritual. And we'd talk to people there, and we'd walk the grounds, look at the swans, smell the flower-kissed air as all the fragrances were in bloom. And they always are here in May. So it was wonderful. Just my mom and I, and usually Wednesdays were pretty empty. So the restaurant was empty. So it was like we had the restaurant all to ourselves and we could stay as long as we wanted. And then the same with the metaphysical place. And then we would go home maybe at the end of the day. It was really, really lovely. Now that my mom is in a convalescent hospital and she doesn't walk, she hasn't walked for I guess it's been close to 10 years. I keep saying 6, but time stands still a bit. And she doesn't like the hoist that gets her out and can put her in a wheelchair. So we all visit her bedside, and we've been doing that for years. So today is my Mother's Day. I got my mom. I don't know if you've noticed with people over 80, but they seem to like the sugar diet. Are you guys noticing that? With my mother, it's a mocha, a cafe mocha with chocolate, sugar, with any kind of sweet thing she can think of. So I got her chocolate-covered strawberries because she loves strawberries and she adores chocolate. So I got her chocolate-covered strawberries. I will probably bring them to her. She'll eat what she can, and then I'll probably take them back because unless she wants me to leave them there. But that way they won't spoil since she can't, have someone put them in a fridge or something. Or she might share them. So we'll find out what she wants to do today. But today is her Mother's Day. So it's going to be, again, kind of a very personal Mother's Day. The excellent news is that my sister, who has moved back to the mainland, she used to live in Hawaii, She is coming on Mother's Day. So my mother gets, a double bonus. And chances are there's a lot of other people. My mother raised two young boys who are now married and have their own children. They'll probably swing over and see her too. So her Mother's Day is going to be action packed and full. So I asked her if I could do today because my husband's mother, we want to celebrate with her on Sunday. But my mother's all about sugar. Big Hunk candy bar, which is a classic candy bar. Maybe some of you know it, maybe some of you don't. Cookies, See's candy, fruit, but chocolate covered fruit is better, especially strawberries. So I'm getting her those. I've gotten her those. And then I got her a pop-up card. Those really beautiful pop-up cards that are cutout cards that when you open them up, they pop up. I usually get that for her in the way of flowers because flowers wilt. And my sister will probably get her some flowers. But then when the flowers have wilted, you still have this beautiful card that's in a bouquet that, goes when you open the card. So I'm doing that for my mother. My mother has limited visibility. She has limited sight. So this big, bright, bold colors help her to see what she's looking at. And it's not macular degeneration. When she was a kid, she injured her eye and it's never been the same. And so now I think what's happening is the brain is making the transition over to the good eye, but the good eye is nearsighted, I think. So yeah. But it'll be fun. It'll be a fun day. So basically, Terri TV, myself on Terri TV, Terri Hardin, just wanted to share with you. This is a good way if you're someone who, flowers, wilting flowers is something that your mom might. My mom was always kind of a little squirrely about that. She didn't like to see them wilt. And I have another friend who loves flowers too, but I gave her Lego flowers. Have you seen the Lego flowers? If your mom is a builder or you have a friend who has a birthday and you want to give her flowers or him flowers, nothing says that you can't give him, her, them Lego, and they have some beautiful, beautiful bouquets of flowers from Lego, and a nice little Lego flower gift is timeless because they get to build it and then they put it in their office or near where they are. Now, my mother would break it, or if she didn't break it, someone who was taking care of her might break it. And Lego does have these little delicate pieces, so you want to kind of think about whether or not you want to do that. I don't have any Lego here currently, but I'm going to take 1 minute and just shift over because I have to tell you that the other broadcast on Monday, when I cut to camera 3, this is my camera 3 right here. And I think color is good. Now, forgive me, honey, I zoomed in a little bit because it was a little bit too wide for me. So I'm a little more zoomed in here, but I will open it up. The cool thing about this, see, I'm so glad he brought me tea. How about I drink some? This allows me to show you how my system works. This is my iPad, which has a picture of my friend Naomi and 2 of the tribe members on it now. And so that's something I can show if somebody wants to know my system. I'm a very, very basic broadcaster. It looks professional, but that's because I have a husband who can help someone who is very, very basic and doesn't want have to do too much to make the broadcast look cool for you because I'll forget it. As simple as a decent switcher. In the background here, you see a painting that I'm working on. I started it. I just haven't finished it. And it's nice because I believe that the definition for me in being semi-retired is no deadlines. Years I was a person who worked to meet deadlines. The deadline was like the major thing in my life, and I'm sure you can concur. But now I do have a couple of deadlines left, like the Rolly Crump chess set. I've set my own deadline on, and if I was going to show you the chess set, I would simply place the piece here, the sculpture here, and you could look at it, and things like that when I start to want to share with you. For example, I have people who love to have puppets and maybe they don't know how to sew or they don't know how to sculpt or there's someone who wants to have a puppet but doesn't quite know how to do it. Well, you all recognize this character from Raya. And so I can show you here that all I did was I opened him up from the back. And then now when I put my hand inside, I can put my fingers in the feet. See the little feet move? And I can put my rest of my hand, put the rest of my hand in the head, right? And so he can clap and he can nod and he can look left and he can look right. You can even put one arm here so he has a place to sit, you know. He can look up at you and say hi. He can, you know, wash his face, which is kind of fun. Or he can do his favorite trick, which is what? So all of this is done. As you know, this character is made by Disney. Disney put this character out. You can come out now. Yeah, come out. Yeah. See, so he can clap, do all this kind of stuff. Anyway, my point is that this all I did was take the stuffing out of him. Basically, that's all I did is take the stuffing out of him. And then you might want to leave a little bit of stuffing in the head to go around your fingers so his face doesn't get too squishy. That's up to you. And then you put your thumb and finger like this. You know, you can do this is for the head and this is for his little feet. You saw him clap. That's how I did it, right? And that can go in these feet here. And then it makes a nice little character. And then I just curl down like this to allow him to fold like he does in the movie and becomes a little pill ball. And it's very, very simple. All you're doing is taking out the stuffing. Now, I've left it kind of rough back here simply because I wanted you to see how I just took a seam ripper and opened up the stitches, pulled out the fluff. And what I'll do, you know, if I was going to make this an official puppet, just so you know, I would take a sleeve. When I do puppets, I take a sleeve that goes, that is my hand and kind of works with my hand. So if I was going to do this, I might have a sleeve that encapsulates my fingers here. And sometimes you don't even need to do that. You just need a sleeve that will attach to the head around this seam line here or there so that you're not searching for, you know, your hand is not in a search mode like where do I put my hand. It's pretty simple on this guy, which is why I'm using this guy. There's a piece of that. They have those little plastic pellets. I don't know if you've seen those. Let's see if I can pull this one. I don't. Yeah, I can pull this one out. So do you see this bag that has these pellets? What I will do when I sew it, I did it pretty quickly, but it's got these little pellets. Can you hear that? So I just wrapped it for now, just kind of wrapped it. And then I stuffed it in the upper part of the head so that when my fingers are underneath, his head fills out. You see see, without it, if I pull it out and you put your fingers in, you see how his head kind of gets a little weird. This would be good if he's not feeling well, you know. But we're going to give him more skull now by putting that little pellet thing in there, and you put your fingers underneath. And then you put your fingers inside the little feet. It's very quick. It doesn't take long to open these up and make that. But look at how happy and joyful he is. So he's really happy. And then he has this ability to turn into. And that's all I'm doing is curling my hand down like that. So for those of you, many of you write to me and you say, you know, I don't sew and I don't crochet and, you know, how do I make a puppet? You know, I know that I could make one out of a lunch bag, but that just doesn't thrill me as a, you know, as an adult. So this is a great way to do it. And you don't have to necessarily grab a character from Disney unless you happen to love it. I won this guy. So I changed him into a puppet just because I just thought he was very perfect for a puppet. And you can see how perfect he is for a puppet, just sitting there. And you could also put, you know, those little squeakers that you find in cat and dog toys. You could put that in here and that could be his voice. So you could actually squeeze it and he might go, ew, 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 like, So you can get very clever, but you're using a ready-made toy. Now, let's say your budget is, let's say you have a budget that's very low. Well, you can go to a thrift store and find a really cool animal and gut him and then restuff him so that, it's very simple. A lot of times later on when I have a little bit more time, right now I'm working on several projects, so I'm not adding anything more to my list, but I'm eventually going to do tutorials and I'll teach you how to make puppets from toys you find at a thrift store or a swap meet or something. You want to launder them up and make sure they're clean and fluffy and fun. But I've done all kinds of characters like this from ready-made characters, so if people don't have the ability to make their own characters, they don't have to. But you can actually make puppets out of anything. And so, the idea of a puppet is to create a style that you love and enjoy. So anyway, I thought I'd show you that, and thank you for allowing me to use camera 3, because I started to tell you that when we looked at it on Monday, we realized that my camera 3 was dying. And my husband, because he was in film and television, we went through a series of cameras, different types of cameras. And although they don't do their purpose, as long as you have a camera. So for example, we had, I can't remember if this camera, but we had a camera that did DVC, the small little video cassette things. They're no longer supported. And so it doesn't matter, because as long as you have an HDMI cable, and if you don't know what that is, I'm sure most of you know what that is, but if you don't, you can ask me and I can show you. But as long as you have an HDMI cable on the back of whatever camera it is, all you're doing is using that lens. You're projecting through that lens what you're looking at here. I know it's complicated. I just turn to my husband and say, could you just plug it in for me, please? And then I have an amazing switcher, something that allows me to go from that to this. This is my area view camera. I don't even know if you guys wanted to know about this, because we were going to talk about on Terri TV where you can go, and I will. But this again just shows, look how cute this little guy is, So you could easily, if you put your hand inside like this. Let me just get that right. Okay. And his little feet are like this. You could go like this, and then he could go. You see? So you've got all of this to just. Stop! You see? So. I entertain myself a lot. Anyway, don't miss out on having puppets if you can't sew, or you don't sew, or you think it's too. I mean, seriously, you can learn to sew. You can learn to hot glue. Hot glue works too. But if you're someone who wants to experience puppets, find a nice, fun stuffed animal. And you wouldn't believe it. I made mine from the very beginning, because I'm just one of these people that gets my little paws in everything. But that doesn't mean that I don't think about the person who says, wow, I'd like to do that, but I don't have the skill. Well, this is a way to have the skill. And it's one for you. I wouldn't recommend selling him as a puppet after he's done. You could be a one of a kind that you make for somebody. But this is, this is a Disney guy, but he's really cute. Why reinvent the wheel? So anyway, I'm digressing, and I apologize about that. All right, so getting to the subject. There is an amazing event starting tomorrow, Saturday, that you can go to at the Academy Museum in Los Angeles. Actually, I think it's in Beverly Hills. Anyway, it's on the cusp, maybe. And they're doing an animation exhibit. I think tomorrow is the membership, introduction to the membership, of which I'm a member. And then after that, y'all can go see it. But it really looks cool. It's going to have some of the sets from Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which is amazing. I actually saw those exhibits at MoMA. My husband and I did. They are spectacular. They have one of the puppets. I think it's Rick Baker's part of the transformation animation sequence. I could be off on this. I read it quickly last night, but it's going to have some of the effects you can look at. It's going to have certain maquettes. There's supposed to be a Pinocchio maquette from the original animation of Pinocchio. What is that, 1940 or something? And I'm not good with dates. It's numbers. I'm an artist, but it's going to have things like that. It's going to have, from Pinocchio, and it's going to have things from various things that you can look at and various things that you can experience and various cuts and clips. And the Academy Theater is a wonderful place. The Academy Museum is a great place to go and see some cool exhibits anyway. So that might be something you'd like to do either with your mom on Sunday or at some point next week. The exhibit opens tomorrow. So that could be very, very cool. There's also an incredible exhibit at the Science Museum. I think it's the Science Museum at Exposition Park. They have just put in a space shuttle, and a cool space exhibit there. Sounds pretty cool. Sounds really cool, actually. I just noticed that when it said things for you to do this week, in certain cities, in most of the cities, the fire and police are opening now, I don't know if the police station is like opening the police station, so don't quote me, but the fire departments all over Los Angeles County, as I understand it, will have their places open so you can see the fire trucks and learn about being a firefighter, learning about what it takes about being a firefighter, lots of interactive things and things to do. And that happens tomorrow and the next day. So that's going to be cool. I know this because there's a lot of street closures. I know it happens for real tomorrow. I don't know if it's tomorrow and Sunday, but these are things you can look up, things that you can think about, things in your community that you could do. Not to mention there's lots of movies out there to open if you want to take your mom to a movie. Maybe it's not, maybe it's a fun movie, not a scary movie, unless your mom likes scary movies or you like scary movies or whatever. It's a great time. I hear Fall Guy is pretty fun. Not a lot of people are saying, it's nothing special, but it's a good popcorn movie that's fun. And I like popcorn movies that's fun. I mean, after all, the Fast and Furious series is not really about great acting, is it? But it is about spine-tingling, breathtaking, sort of James Bondy types of effects that you can get involved. I mean, what was it? Fast and Furious 9, where the car is in space? I mean, seriously, you can't really take your brain to those movies, but they're still fun. So if you want a movie where you just grab your favorite drink and a popcorn and kick back and just buckle yourself in like Space Mountain and ride the ride, these are amazing, aren't they? They're fun and they're fabulous and they're great. So lots to do, lots to see, lots to experience. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you today, that I wanted to chat with you about you today. I had a little bit of well, it wasn't even a little bit of a heartbreak. I had a heartbreak. And that is I lost my good friend, Naomi. She was part of Terri's tribe. And if you don't know what Terri's tribe is, I'm going to post for you where you can go and find out more. Terri's tribe is my Patreon page. It is a group of people that want to delve deeper into things we want to talk about. We have a private Facebook page and we meet on Zoom every week. And before I come and see you, I broadcast to them. This page is $5 a month membership fee to start. There's other levels if you so choose, but $5 is the main level that I often encourage people if they want to dip a toe in the water and see what's about. I want to encourage you. Your voice needs to be heard. It is a sense of community where we talk very frankly about quite a bit of things, and we are passionate people. And we love Disney. So Disney is one of the major topics, but we also talk Lego. We talk charity events. We talk nonprofits. We talk about theater. We talk about just about anything you want to talk about. We've talked about martial arts. We've talked about all kinds of things because you bring your tool set with you, and then you share it with us, and then we learn something. If we don't know about it, then we learn about it. I can tell you right now that, forgive me, my good dear friend Chris McCulley, a comic book artist, I was never a comic book person when I was growing up. My husband finds this surprising because I'm so into movies, but I was a movie person. I was all about the movies. And as a little kid, I would sneak and get up in the middle of the night to watch movies like The Crawling Eye or Them when I was a little girl. And my parents tried everything to keep me in bed sleeping, but I would sneak up and watch those movies late at night on those late night shows where they would show those movies where the monsters were crawling, and I have some that I just love, Tarantula and things of this nature, The Tingler. And so I read, but I didn't read comic books. And I won't talk about what I read as a child because you might think of it as a little odd and weird. And I don't mind you thinking about it odd and weird, but that's another subject to talk about. Anyway, I didn't read comic books. They just didn't excite me. And I can't tell you why. I honestly cannot tell you why. The comic books of that day were different than the comic books from here, but many comic book aficionados will tell you that the comic books were really lovely to read. Some of them, like what was it, Creepy magazine or Weird Science magazine, which are magazines, I guess, not comics. But then I met Chris McCauley, and Chris was a person that is part of the tribe, and he's a comic book artist and writer and just an all-around brilliant person. And now he's on fire doing so many wonderful things, and his books and comic books are phenomenal. He's really killing it in the industry, and I'm so proud and happy to have been a part of helping him with that. He was stuck, and I said something, I don't even remember what it was, but he says that it helped unstick, and he was able to go off like a rocket, and he has, and he just continues to do better and better and better. So the tribe helps you if you're whatever you're passionate about. It could be numbers, you could be an accountant and numbers is your thing. You could love Rubik's cubes or whatever. It doesn't have to be Disney, is what I'm telling you. It can be a multitude of things. We have someone who's very, very into recordings. And so he often comes on and talks about records, vinyl, I guess is what you all are calling it now, vinyl and recordings. And he's in the tribe and shares with us. He's also a flight attendant. We have several flight attendants. We have some ambassadors for Disneyland. We have cast members for Disneyland who kind of give you an insight that you don't get, but it's all on Terri's Tribe for $5 a month. Why $5 a month? Why do I ask you to pay? Because you have to have skin in the game if I do. Okay, I want to know you're serious when you come to the tribe, that you want to seriously be present. And $5 is how I figured that out. Not much. You could put a quarter in a jar starting on day one and have your money by the end of the month. So it's just, if I'm going to come to the table with my private time, I want you to come to the table with something. And that $5 is what helps me to maintain this channel and also to show up, because I am a semi-retired, no deadline pop icon. And that's just what it is. So I love to have you. I love the tribe. The tribe has saved me. We talk about all kinds of things. I lost my father last year. They rallied around me. Your voice needs to be heard. So I encourage you to go here, check it out. It's not a year subscription. So if you don't like it, you just step away. Okay. But if you do like it, and I think you will if you give it a chance, we'd love to have you and love to know all about you and what makes you tick. And there's all kinds of fun stuff we do and talk about. So that's what's going on there. And that's what I started to talk about when one of my members, the wonderful young woman in the middle, this is my good friend Naomi, she just passed away. We just found out yesterday. And for me, it was like losing a limb, because everyone in my tribe is my family. And you know how it hurts when you lose someone in your family. So we're very heartbroken about the loss of her. And today we sort of shared our thoughts about her and what we remembered about her. But we love her. And when she came, she wasn't sure she was going to like the tribe, but she fell in love with us and we fell in love with her. And I got to tell you, I'm going to miss her more than tongue can tell, guys. More than tongue can tell. I'll tell you for real. All right. Okay, so that is the side swipe I got yesterday, and nobody likes to hear about it on Facebook. I'm sorry, and that's how I heard about it, but at least I heard about it, you know? So there you go. In any case, let's hear what you have to say. It's Friday, and we did most of our, send-ups and talked about some of the pain we were feeling at the loss of Naomi on that channel. That's what that's for. That's what Terry's tribe is. You have you're feeling a little insecure about something. Many artists and performers who or in certain situations who are living a good life, or maybe you're living a nice life. Either way, you could suffer from what's called imposter syndrome. And in the tribe, we talk about this a lot because it's what your brain is telling you, like, what if I'm found out? And it's kind of not true because you're not an imposter. You are as talented as people think you are. And you need to just embrace that. However, you're told that you could be a bit narcissistic if you embrace it, that a wise man keeps his head lower than the dust. Well, let me tell you something. If you don't fight for your dream, no one else is going to. Okay, so you not only have to have your dream, you got to fight for it. And you're going to get kicked down in the dust a couple times. But that's God's way of asking you, how bad do you want it? And you've got to answer by getting up, dusting yourself off, and what? Never giving up. Never giving up. Don't let people tell you how to live your life and tell you it's not possible. Okay? You've got to decide. You've got to decide. Is it important to you? Now, it's not, if you're someone who's going to run out there and do mean things to people, I am not speaking to you. But if you're someone who's always wanted to paint for a living or draw for a living or create earrings and make jewelry or create fashion, why should anyone tell you you can't? Why do people in positions of those positions tell you you can't? That's an interesting question. But you don't have to pull that book from the shelf. Why do many artists believe that the only way you can be a true artist is to be broke? I say leave that book on the shelf, okay? Because that's not true. Unless you pull that book down, then you might make it true. But it's not true. Many artists have a real good life, whatever that is in the definition for you. So the next time someone tells you that your idea is silly, I'm gonna share something with you just really quickly. I was meeting with a very close friend of mine. I'm not going to mention his name because he's, I don't want to call him out, call you out. No. But as you know, I design pins. I don't design a lot of pins. I am someone who creates art. A lot of it is based on Disney stuff because that's what you guys want. I ask and you tell me. But a couple of the things that I have done recently, and I will show you as I cut to my camera too. Here is my hitchhiking ghost pin. And if I take it out of the package for you so you can see it better, this is a pin you can get from me. I'm just going to show you the size here. Okay. This is a pin you can get from me. And as you see it catching the light, you see that it has a nice linear illustration of all these characters, right? Professor Phineas, Gus, and Ezra, right? Okay. Now, what you don't know about this pin is that it glows in the dark. So let me just get to I think I have one called pins. If I'm smart, maybe I don't. You never know with me. But let's see if I've got projects or something in here. That's funny that I don't have pins in here. That just cracks me up. But I will find something that I can show you. It takes a little time. Oh, yes, I did have one called pins. Here you go. Okay, so here is the pin, but if I do this, whoops, that's the country beer pin. Here it is. This one glows in the dark. There it is glowing for you. So that's what it looks like once it's been exposed to the light and it glows in the dark and it's an open edition. Okay, I'm getting to a point here. I know that you're like, what is the point, Terri? This is the point. The point is that for many, if you guys have come and you're new to this, if you're new to the live, welcome. I'm Terri Hardin. Pleased to meet you. And if you're watching it later, welcome. Please consider subscribing. It's an odd channel. It's a weird channel, but once you get to know me, you'll realize it's odd and weird. But I'd love to have you if you're so inclined. Anyway, I designed these pins. And while designing these pins, I came up with this idea for a charity that I'm really passionate about to create a pin for that. So I created this pin. Oh man, I don't know what's going on with there we go. Phew, that was getting very strange. All right, anyway, I created this pin. And this is the little BDX robots that are walking around Disneyland right now, okay? And here is the actual pin of that right here. It's a big one. See how big it is? Isn't it fun? Yeah, it's fun. And what you did was you paid $30. Unlike I'm down to like $4 now, so I'm not really talking it up. But my point is this. So I've designed these two. I've designed a ton of pins like this, and I offer them. But the other day, my friend was here, and he said he was thinking of creating a pin for an event he wants to have, which is what I just did for CHOP. Let me point out that this BDX robot was so successful, limited to 100, and I think I have 4 left. And you either came to the event, which was $30, and you could sign up by going to CHOP and making a donation. Or you could donate $30 and just say pin, please. Okay. And so you paid $30 for the pin itself or came to the event and got the pin for free. Follow? All right. And as a result, myself and my colleague, I did this with tribe member Stephanie Fix. We raised between us $5,000 in about a month for CHOP. Yay for us. But the pin was at the root of that. Okay. Not to mention that it ended with an amazing event. Thank you, Stephanie Fix. Together, we did an amazing event, and people really enjoyed it, had a lot of fun. But the point is, this was the catalyst, okay? This little BDX pin was the catalyst. And the reason I share this with you is because this friend said, I was thinking of doing a pin, but my friend said it's jinky. And I said, what's jinky? It's not, it's, jinky was a derogatory term. So this is a perfect example of allowing someone who may or may not know what they're talking about. I'm not going to put that on whoever said this, but they may or may not know what they're talking about, but they start to talk about their opinion about pins that aren't necessarily issued officially by the Disney company. But the Disney company has come to realize that if the fans create some things that they like, they can do them too because it's their property, isn't it? So the BDX robots are by Disney. I did a limited edition for just race for charity of this BDX robot. And if they saw it and they liked the 3 BDX robots together, they would simply take a picture of my picture and make them. And I couldn't go after them because they're not my BDX robots. Do you understand? But that way, as a collector, you get 2 BDX robots, don't you? And so that's the beauty of it. So Disney can have you guys create things that they can say, hey, that's doing pretty well, and take their property back and then do it themselves too. You've seen it. You've seen it. I won't go into detail. I go into detail on the tribe, but I don't really go into detail here. But that's just a loose thing. The bottom line is when someone tells you jinky, or a book says an artist has to be broke, or someone asks you what's that supposed to be, don't quit your day job. Are you really going to let those things stop you from doing what you love? Because if you are, you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself this question: why are you doing that? Don't do that. if you were to Google my name, Terri Hardin, and see all that I've done, all I can tell you is that I would go through the door of opportunity and then figure out what I was going to do later. So I'm basically known for designing the Dragon's Lair in Paris. Originally, that dragon was supposed to be stone. And I just couldn't believe that this was true. I really thought I was being punked. So I fought for this dragon being animated, and now it's an animated dragon under there. And I got in front of the right people, Tony Baxter, to name one. And it worked out great. It worked out. I mean, passion is what Imagineers are all about. We're very passionate people. And a lot of times we leave our egos at the door to collaborate, to create great things. And it's an honor and a privilege to be an Imagineer. So it's the creme de la creme, and I did not get handpicked by Walt. He was gone by the time, but I did get handpicked by the Disney company, and I jumped through a lot of hoops to get there, but I was very happy to be there. I'm no longer in-house. I am known as the come here, get away Imagineer, because they call me when they need certain things done. You know, it's like Henson, actually. Henson has a list of puppeteers that they know will come and assist them should they have a need for a show. Let's say they're gonna do a show. Henson is gonna do a show, and they need people to play the characters. They often have an idea of who are gonna play their main characters. Like, for example, maybe they're gonna have Kevin Clash play one of his iconic characters, and so he's in on the project. He might even be the one that's gonna oversee the project that Henson does. This is speaking from the past. And then they get together and they say, who are we going to bring in to audition? And I'm on that list. That's how it works. During the time that I'm not working with the Hensons, I am on my own and free to create and do whatever I want. But when they need me, they go down that list, just like your contacts, and they go, oh, let's try, boop, 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 boop. And they bring you in and you audition. Sometimes you get the role, sometimes you don't, but you're on the list, right? And that's great. For me, this is great. I loved being an in-house Imagineer while I was there for about 10 years. I really enjoyed it and I really loved it. But after a while, it started to have, they entered a period where they weren't doing a lot. So to keep a lot of people under their roof was not cost effective. So they let a lot of us go. You know, they said, okay, we're done. You know, see you later. And I went off to do things like Ghostbusters. But the point is that they had a contact list. And so if they need someone to come back and help them, they'll call up and go, hey, Terri, are you free? We could use some help on X project. And sometimes it's in X country. So that's what I mean about come here, get away, Imagineer. They bring me in, I do the business, and then they go, okay, scoot, we'll call you later. And so on. And it's perfect for me because I have my own company now. And because I have my own company, Terri Hardin Designs, Disney, when I went back to help them with a particular project, and I'm going to be kind of cagey with this because I'm more frank on my private channel with my tribe. But when I came in, they basically said, if you want to be a part of the official Imagineers who are under this roof, you know, blue badge and all of that, green badge, whatever it is, you need to let go of your company. And I didn't want to do that. I mean, I didn't want to do that. Many of you know Garner Holt, and he does a lot of stuff for Disney. He's very well known, and his company has exploded with the animatronics and all of the things that he does. He has his own company. And so it's much easier for us to be someone that Disney reaches out to help them create a something. And then we can go off and create for others as well because we have our own platform, right? And it's good for Disney because all they do is reach out and say, hey, we'd like to contract you to do this. And it's a choice, isn't it? You keep your company and then you're contracted. You become a contractor for said companies and they get your talents and your abilities, but they don't have to pay your pension and health. So that's how that works. That's kind of how that works. Anyway, Jinky, for a pin, if you want to design a pin, yes, it should be good quality. And yes, it should require some thought. Don't just burp up a pin you think it's good, but ask people that you're working with if, you know, what do you think? How do you feel? It's really a great way to find out what your audience wants, isn't it? Rather than do another mug or another t-shirt. If your people don't want a mug or a t-shirt, don't do a mug or a t-shirt. If your people love mugs and t-shirts, do mugs and t-shirts. You follow? And if you don't know, there's a 3-letter word I have for you. Ask. Simply ask. It works wonders. The last thing I'm going to suggest to you that I suggest to my tribe constantly is create an experience. Don't just sell your product. Okay. If you create an experience for the buyer, they're going to love it. This is how my success works, is to create a story around whatever I'm creating. Okay. And not necessarily create the story, but make sure there is a story. So that's what that's about. So, for example, I have a set of hitchhiking ghosts, and they flew off the shelves. Several reasons the hitchhiking ghost did do that. And the reason for that was because it took a couple of years for these hitchhiking ghosts to actually show up, to be real, because I had some things that I needed to have happen. Let me just see if I can find them. I know they're here. I just have to be patient. Be patient. They're there. Okay. Here they are. And we'll show them to you so you can get an idea about them. Here they are. Here's my guys. These are my hitchhiking ghosts. Each one is individual. Each one illuminates. They don't glow. They illuminate. So when you put them on your, is this the next one? No, that's my clay. The nice thing about my hitchhiking ghost is that if you're in the tribe, you get to help me figure out what the pose is. This is Shavant clay, and this is the first pass at Ezra. So now here's Ezra when he's done, because I sort of changed his, I wanted him to be a little prouder than here. Here he's feeling pretty, stepping out. Da, 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 putting on the Ritz. Da, da, da. That's him there. But here, he's a little more, I'm a ghost and I'm all about it. Hitching and hiking. You want to pick me up. Anyway, each one is individual. And that was what people told me, that they love the hitchhiking ghosts, but they wanted them to be individual ghosts. And no one had done individual ghosts before, except for those popcorn buckets, which I don't think are really, in the sippy cup and whatever, I don't think those are really great. That's my opinion. And so on and so forth. But the cool thing about them is that they are separate. So that when you put them on, they said so that when they put them on the shelves, they would illuminate various places on your collectible shelf. So to demonstrate that, here they are here on my shelf with the light out. And you can see that they are at various places on the shelf. Now, if at any time, and it looks like they're just appearing there. They're a little specter who has decided to appear there and check out what you got on your shelf as your collectibles. So Ezra's checking out shelf number 1, and Gus is checking out shelf number 3. And they just want to make sure. And then this is with the light on my shelf. So even more, you can see how they're you can see through them a little bit, but don't they look like they're ghosts appearing as opposed to something that you've seen where the ghosts were lighted and it looks like acid reflex instead of a glowing ghost? In order for me to do this, I had to wait for technology to catch up. And this happens a lot with creators that are Imagineers, I think, and creators who just create and go, I'm going to make it like this. And sometimes you have to put something on the shelf and wait for technology to catch up. And the way you do that is, in my case, the base on the ghosts are very small. And let me see if I can show you an example where you can see it. I've come to think that examples. I also have the black light ghost sets. I still have those. The other ghosts are oh, it just went out, so maybe it's not going to show it, let you see it. So let me see if I can find one that shows it. I don't know if I can. Lots of passes, lots of, oh, here, this one will show you. This is the black light ghost version. You run a black light over them. They're still available, actually. And they change to these nice fun colors, but that's black light effect. But the glowing goes to the same, and you can see by their bases that the bases are very small. So at the time I was designing them originally a few years back, it was that little nickel battery, that little flat silver battery. Well, I hate that battery. It's never around when you need it, and you're looking everywhere and you can't replace it. And then your ghosts, yeah, your things don't work and it's frustrating. So I wanted a AAA battery. And so I had to wait for the electronics to be built that would take a AAA battery, and then I could sit them in a base, in the base of the ghosts, and illuminate the ghosts using AAA batteries, because a lot of you had those in your home. You follow? So sometimes you just got to wait as an artist, and they exploded in 2020 and they sold out within a couple hours. So yeah, I keep the editions limited and everything, but my point is that you ask, and everybody wanted the hitchhiking ghosts. Everyone wanted Professor Phineas in the cape, and so Professor Phineas is in the cape. Basically, many people think I'm an amazing artist, but all I do is ask you. That's all I do. And then you guys make me look like a rock star because I listen to what you say. Do you know even Walt Disney had an advisory committee? So I don't know why Disney today doesn't have an advisory committee of you guys. It would be so simple. They could save so much money. You could have a Marvel advisory committee. You could have a Star Wars advisory committee. You could have a Disneyland advisory committee. That's what Walt had, was a Disneyland advisory committee, and it really worked nicely. It made the 50th anniversary of Disneyland just blow the doors off of collectibles. It was amazing stuff you could get. And then we saw the 60th anniversary where there is no advisory committee, and that wasn't the case. So all I'm saying is you don't have to work so hard. You just have to pull a few of you together. I think the advisory committee that Walt talked to was about, what was it, 50 people or something? Maybe you guys were on it. You can post in the comments about that. But in the comments about that, sorry. You can post in the comments about that and let me know. But I know that many of you got some sort of pin or some sort of badge or some sort of little discount perk or something for being selected for the advisory committee. And people were very proud to be on the advisory committee. And we were very grateful because we got cool stuff. Now it's not so easy. They keep coming up with maybe yet another mug. And for me, I'm mugged out, guys. I only have so much shelf space, and I don't want another mug. I don't want another t-shirt. I like the pajamas. Yeah, I like the pajamas. Yeah. But there's things out there that you like and you love, and you also an advisory committee is going to help you not oversaturate the market. How big should my edition size be? With me, most of the time it's 50, because I want to keep it small and get it out to you. And so these sold very quickly. These right now, these blacklight ones that you have, they are available. You have to order it, but then it comes to you in about a week or two, depending on how quickly my company can make it, because we're a small company of 4 people and everybody is an artist and a genius at what they do, but I do not keep them retained so that they can go off and do other stuff. Like one of them is so coveted that he works a lot in the industry. And then the other one is an author and book writer. So I have to work around that. She's one of my painters. Then I have another painter. I have 2 painters. So it's 2 painters, one who casts my work up, and the sculptor you're looking at her. So things take time. But as I told you, now that I'm semi-retired, we're all working without a deadline. We're just kind of doing our own thing. So it's neat. It's neat. And I wish it for all of you if that's what you want. Okay, let's see what you have to say. Okay, I've talked enough and you guys haven't had a chance to talk, and I've already done it for 53 minutes. So it's your turn. Debbie says, I'm adorable. I love your enthusiasm and energy. I wish I had that. Debbie, you got to join the tribe, girl. I'll tell you, it's amazing. Naomi would tell you the same thing. I mean, it's amazing how people shift when they get a lot of people who look at them and say, you're an amazing creature, right? You don't know that? We're gonna help you to see that. Not just Terri talking about it. So sweet. You're welcome, Debbie. Debbie says, I unfortunately lost my mom 7 years ago. I'm unable to visit her resting place, and she is in New York along with my dad. I am, however, in South Florida, so it hurts not being with her. Well, you know what, Debbie? Do something that your mom loved doing. Did she love gardening? Did she love food? Did she love the beach? Did she love the Gulf Coast? Did she love Disneyland? Did you love chocolate? Did you love cake? You can sit and kind of do this is my dad, okay? Father's Day, I'm going to go to Jack in the Box because my dad loved Jack in the Box. My dad loved a particular meal at Jack in the Box. He adored it, and I'm going to grab it, and then I'm going to go to the college that my dad was a coach at for over 30 years plus, and maybe meet with some of those people and kind of go, woohoo, dad, So you can kind of make it connect with your mom in ways that only you know as the daughter that can be very, very special. With my dad, he loved his Jack in the Box. Truth be told, he'd be watching a game on Father's Day, but I am not a sports person, so I can't go that far. So I'm leaving that up to my cousin, but you follow what I'm saying. David Lewis. Hi, David. And nice to see you live. Nice to see you too, David. I'm grateful to all of you that have come here. Dan DeMeyer says, how cute. Hi, Dan. I gave Vinny your pin. I hope you got it. And by the way, I love Star Wars pin. Yep. See, I just need to read faster than I chat, right? That's never going to happen, Dan. It's a great puppet. It's cute. Yeah, Debbie, I didn't design it. There's another brilliant designer out there that designed him. I just took his stuffing out and made him into a puppet. And all I did was take the stuffing out and put my hand in, to be honest. I wanted it to be as quick for you guys who tell me so many times, I don't sew, I don't. Here's something you can do. And that's my goal. Yes, it's something you can do. Something exciting and fun that you can do. That's what I'm up for. I love that idea. I'm so glad you do. You got to try it and then show it to me, okay? Post it on the page and tag me so I can see what you come up with, because this is a great way. It's going to spark you, and then you're going to get other ideas. You're going to get other creative ideas that excite you, right? So fear not, my friends. Prayers for your loss, and also give thanks for your strength and good nature to go towards your weekend. Thank you, Bob. That's so kind of you. I appreciate it. Debbie says she just joined Patreon. I'll be sending you a welcome letter, and also you can join the Zoom call that we have. It's fun, and get in on that pin thing and introduce yourself. If you are so inclined, we can do a spotlight on you. I have to tell you that I slipped in the last 2 years because I was taking care of my dad up until the day he died. It was really touch and go. I won't go into it, but a lot of marbles fell to the wayside, and now I'm getting back onto the tribe. The tribe is very understanding and supported me as well. They did, bless them, but you guys would really, it's fun. It's fun, and I'm getting back to the fun. By gone it. So Debbie, welcome. Debbie says she's also sorry for my loss. Don't worry. I mean, comics that were written by Carl Barks were amazing to me as a kid, and a lot of them were second run. Yes, I mean, I'm learning about comics now because of my friend Chris. Also, I did a movie called Spawn. You may know of it. And I worked with an amazing studio in my days of practical effects called K&B, which stands for Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger. Now, Nicotero may be familiar to you because he is the director of The Walking Dead. So if you're a Walking Dead fan, you will recognize Greg Nicotero's voice, one of the letters of K and B. And we work together. We're very close. We know each other very well. And Greg is amazing. Howard is amazing. Kurtzman went off to do some writing, as I remember. He was there for a bit when I was there, but then he moved to, I guess, a setting that was more nature-like or something, so he could do more writing. I don't know the full story, but he's there as the letter, but not necessarily as active as he was in the group. But Greg is amazing. He's loved zombies all his life, and of course, his dream came true, walking through that door of opportunity and worrying about what to do after. And he's been directing The Walking Dead and doing a fabulous job, and it's great to see him live his dream. So just like I said, this is across the board, amazing. So why do I say this to you, Bob? It's because one of the tribe is Chris McCulley, and Chris is one of the best comic book artists, writers, and creators that I've ever met. And he is on fire right now. And it's great to look at his page and see what he's done. I got Chris is an amazing, positive individual. When I got with him, he said, I'll show you about comic books. Would you be willing to collaborate with me on a comic book for a little boy who is disabled in one way or another, who, you know, he had a disability, right? And he wrote this comic book about him as the sidekick to Batman. It was only 4 pages long, the story. And I got to assist Chris on the illustrations. I actually did the rough layouts, and then Chris made me look like a rock star. It was incredible. It was incredible. It was an incredible experience. I'm not going to lie. And I learned a lot. And I felt amazing. And then Chris was so known in the industry that he was able to connect with DC, and DC for this little boy only. He was able to put that little stamp in the corner that identifies it as an actual authentic comic book. And like I said, 4 pages long, amazing, exciting. And so I learned about comic books through collaboration and doing it, Bob. And I have a new place in their heart. In fact, first week in May, which I missed this year because I was doing a charity, but first week in May is Free Comic Book Day, isn't it? And I could not believe how the art had changed. It's been a long time. And I mentioned that I did Spawn. I got a collection of Spawn comics from McFarlane because I worked on the movie Spawn. So I'm slowly learning and experiencing them and seeing the joy in them through the eyes of people like yourself. So it's been very cool. That's why I'm saying in the tribe, you can say, hey, you're all Disney, but someone can say, well, I'm comic books like Chris did. And he starts to share them with you. And you're like, well, tell me about that. What does it take? And now, on Disney Plus, I remember they had a show. I don't know if it's still on there because I saw it a few years ago, where they talk about the process of a comic and how much of a village it takes to do it. Well, Chris does he doesn't usually do the layout. He'll do a rough, like, stick figure layout. And then I did a layout. He might do the layout now, but then he cleans it up and he makes the page. And then he does the color part of it. And then his wife, also very talented, does the lettering. So you have someone who does the dialogue, someone who does the ink, the black part, somebody who does the color, and somebody who does the layout, how it's going to look on the page. Really fun and cool. Really fun and cool. I wonder if I have it here. Yeah. Let me see if I can show. I wanted to show you my drawing, and it doesn't look like I have my drawing. I really should show you the line drawing. I'll see if I can find it and show it to you, because the line drawing is what's important. I did this, what I felt was a very rough line drawing with the perspective being off. And then Chris got a hold of it and he made me look like a rock star. Like I really knew what I was doing when it came to a comic book illustration, which I had never done. I had never done before. So it was amazing. It was amazing. Debbie says, I wanted to become a cartoonist. It's never too late, Debbie. As a kid, I didn't know it, says Bob. Yes. Oh, who we have here? Michael Morris. How are you? Are you on the Muppet movie 1979? I'm not on it, but I am a part of it at the end. So again, when the Muppets needed a lot of people, at the time, I think they just did a call in the local newspaper, and I had Puppet Radar. So I was in the final sequence of that movie. Yeah, it was fun. Thank you for asking, Michael. That's sweet of you. And there she is, Surfer Girl. Hello, Surfer Girl. How are you? This is wonderful. And then Bob Lineweaver says, good morning, all. Happy Friday. It's been a crazy week. Glad to have it over. Yes, we've lost close friends, and it's been really nuts. It's been cool as I hear the SpaceX launched their satellite rocket, and it did like cool stuff in the sky, which I missed because I was grieving over my friend. But Bob, Bob, I realized that I didn't post our visit to JPL, and I think I want to ask Lindsay if he did an incredible thing with the 2 charities I was involved with, which I'm going to post on the tribe later for you to view. But wow, yeah, and that's the thing about the tribe, guys. You get early viewings of some things, a little bit behind the scenes with me. I'm starting to really gear up on that as my husband and I find our stride. But I was hamstringed for about 2 years as I was trying to rescue my father from hospitals and doctors that were not vested in my dad's life like his daughter was. So I became the bulldog, and then we both lost a battle with it in September of last year. So I'm still recovering. I'm the administrator of his estate, and so it's probate, so it still takes long. I've gotten a lot of great advice, both from Patreons and people like yourself. So again, asking really helps. If you're someone who wants to create a product for people to buy, ask them what they'd like to see from you. That's the way it works with me. Now, I've been doing it for a while because it's very, very important. If you're thinking of starting a channel or you're thinking of starting a store, you want to make sure that you create the relationship first. You want people to get to know you and understand that you care about them. You're not just looking at them like they're money machines or cash cows, right? This is the major complaint of people going to Disneyland now, is because they're missing that personal connection they had before Disney seemed to look at them like a bunch of walking cash registers. So this is the feeling that I'm getting, because why? I asked. So this is what is a challenge when you create a relationship, which Walt was able to do because he had a relationship with who? His advisory committee. So if it's good enough for Walt, I just do a shout out to those Disney CEOs up in the tower that barely come down to see the people on the ground. Even if you do, ask them and invite them to be an advisory committee for you. You've got some major influencers that could be helpful. But more than that, I think the best thing to do would be to go to get people who go to the parks and frequent the park because they love the park. Okay, I've got my friend who adores Tinkerbell. Her name is Liz. Oh my gosh, she should be on the advisory committee. She's absolutely adorable and so all about Disney. Then you've got my friend, who's on the tribe, Kevin. He and his wife do that treasure hunt. You may have seen it when you go to things. He does a little Disney treasure hunt, and they are so about Disney. They're so adorable. You know who they are, guys. You've seen them, and they have their channels, Mice Chats, full of them. All of these people. Laughing Place is a good group of people. Laughing Place is really great because it's a very diverse group of people. I'm not saying that none of the others are diverse, but it's very diverse. And so you could have an advisory committee of diversity and inclusion. And what do you want to see? And then you create great stuff. And isn't that cool? Because I know y'all want to part with your money if the thing is cool, right? If the thing is cool, you will part with it. You will. But if it's tchotchke or kitschy or ginky or what a jinky, like was said to my friend, then you don't want it because it looks like garage sale item. And that's not what Disney is known for. Disney is quality. And so you want to see quality, don't you? And there are people out there that do amazing quality. I can think of Kevin and Jody that do amazing work. But Kevin and Jody sometimes are a bit too micromanaged, in my opinion. And the art that I see doesn't feel like it come from them, because I worked with them years ago when they worked for Disney.com. Do you guys remember Disney.com? Disney.com, they were overseers of that. And I did a Harmony Kingdom box for them of Mickey Mouse at the desk. You can probably still find it on eBay if you're lucky. But working with them was a real pleasure and a real joy. And we were free to create something cool. And they were free to create. And they just blew the doors off stuff. So why clip their wings? Why clip anybody's wings? Just ask and then pull in some artists who are passionate about Disney. I wouldn't mind doing some more for them. But I am semi-retired, so I don't want my whole calendar to be filled with that. But 1 or 2 objects would be nice to have in there for you guys to have good quality work, because you can bet that's what it would be. The other thing that needs to happen is that you cannot assume, Disney, that Florida is Anaheim. Okay. Walt Disney World is not Disneyland, and Disneyland is not Walt Disney World. Okay. The people of Disneyland have different criteria in what they collect than Walt Disney World. And I won't get into that today because I'm going to go see my mom for Mother's Day. But I will tell you, if you have that question and you want me to elaborate on it, I'm happy to do so. But the point is that Walt Disney World is a different cat. They're a bigger park. When you go there, you usually go for a huge family vacation, like 10, 12, 30 people meet and you all do all kinds of things from Animal Kingdom to their Downtown Disney thing to, and in Disneyland, it's more intimate. It's not less, it's just more intimate. You come to see where Walt walked. You come to see what Walt created, and you come to see what there is to see in Anaheim. You're curious. And so it's a very different attitude. And so one group of advisors cannot both parks be. So a lot of times that's a mistake. A lot of times Walt Disney World stuff will show up at Disneyland and the Disneyland collectors will go, if I want Walt Disney World stuff, I'm going to Walt Disney World, and vice versa. So that's the way, that's the attitude that is there. And it's not mean. It's just open, So there you go. There you go. Surfer Girl says she's always wanted to do the treasure hunt WDW in Adventureland. Well, Kevin, part of the tribe, is he does these great little packets, and I don't have one with me. I wish I did. They're great, and they don't cost much, and they are treasure, like scavenger hunt, treasure hunt type stuff. You can find him at a Disneyana fan club, or I think Disneyana is where I see him, but he's also at MouseCon a lot. And it's cool. And you can watch about how it works because he has little screens on his booth. It's cool. It's cool. And she says she's going to be in WDW next Tuesday. So maybe you can do the treasure hunt and it will be cool. All right, my friends, you have a lovely weekend. Thank you for joining me today and staying with me for just a little over an hour. Do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. I'm going to encourage you to possibly do this, not this, but find a stuffed animal that you want to try and make a puppet out of. You can do it, and let me know how it goes. Okay? Love you, care about you. Happy Mother's Day, and bye for now. I will see you Monday. Bye-bye, all.